Welcome back to Bonanza Disc Golf. I actually just had to buy a fancy new camera, so hopefully everything is good. But today we're going to be taking a look at the new Paul McBeth Athena from Discraft. Now to make things pretty interesting, we're going to go ahead and test the Athena against some discs that I do bag. An Explorer here, that's a new Ricky Wysocki Explorer, also 7502, because those are the numbers on these new first run Athenas. An Evader, which is slightly more stable than the Explorers, it's 7402.5, and then we have a kind of new looking T-Bird 3 8402. Actually, I'm gonna bring a putting putter though, because we're gonna go play 9 holes and see how she fares. First impressions are that it honestly kind of feels pretty similar to a lot of those other molds. Personally, I really like this Discraft plastic, this ESP. Feels just so good. I've always been a big fan of it. Feels like it's gonna be nice on the forehand. And honestly, out of these discs, I don't have just a normal T-Bird, so I can't really compare it to that. But the Evader fits the hand very similarly, but this feels a little bit blunter than this Evader. The parting line seems to be a little bit higher, so maybe that means this will be more stable. This Explorer is a little bit pop-topped, but it feels very similar to Explorers that I've thrown. And the rim feels very similar to this T-Bird 3, except this is a little bit faster, so it's, I think, a little bit wider. But we're gonna go a 9-hole challenge where I face off the Athena versus the rest of these guys, and I'll throw one of them per hole. We're at Knock Knolls Disc Golf Course, wrong way, here in Naperville, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And I'm excited to see how we shoot with this. I don't think I'll be switching them in my bag because it seems very similar. It seems like Paul just kind of wanted a T-Bird 3 back again, but let's see how they fly. So unfortunately, we're losing a little bit of daylight because literally 2 days ago, the day of my tournament, my old camera just bricked itself, meaning it wouldn't turn on. I have no idea what happened to it. So I had to buy this one. I'm a little bit uncomfortably out of pocket. So thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, because I actually was able to apply for monetization, and hopefully we'll be getting it within the next day or two from YouTube. But that put my schedule back a lot. So the sun is going down, so we're gonna have to play this pretty fast. But luckily, real world testing is probably the best way to see how these discs are gonna fly anyways. All right, so we're gonna start out on hole 10 here at this course, and I'm actually gonna give all 4 of them a rip off the first tee. Ooh, I don't have a marker, and I did not mark this. If I lose this, you guys will be the first to know, but I'm not gonna lose it, hopefully. This is 450-foot par 4. Oh, it's pretty stable. It's out there. I thought there'd be a little flip up. I also probably didn't throw it very hard, but it's pretty stable. Let's try the Explorer. That's a better line. I threw that more to the right, which is more where you want to be, unless I'm behind that tree, which I am under it, of course. Now the Evader. I think this Evader is pretty similar to that Explorer, except slightly more stable. Slightly less stable because it's beat in and the Explorer is new. Well, it's not beat in, but let's try this T-Bird 3 out as well. I'm also just warming up. Yeah, the T-Bird 3 may have flipped up a bit. They flew pretty similar. Everything landed in a relatively similar spot. There's the Athena, and right over by that tree, the other 3 discs are just kind of chilling right around there. So pretty similar distances. First forehand of the day. Oh yeah, get a little skip. I will say, even at like this range and with the power I've been throwing this, I would have expected a little more flip up, especially being that it's ESP. And a great shot, go in. Whoo, just passed. All right, hole 11 is a solid little 275 footer. Looks like a perfect little forehand. Actually gonna trust this Athena, try to put some power into it, see if it turns. I'm gonna try to throw it flat. My forehands are not great. We're gonna throw T-Bird 3 first. I do not feel very powerful right now. That has a little flip up to it. Yeah, that has a decent bit of flip up. Did not think I could throw T-Bird 3 about 300 feet on a forehand. I'm gonna throw the exact same shot with this, and I think it's slightly more stable and it'll finish better. A little flip up, a little headwind. Oh my, let's go. First impressions for me on that forehand is that, well, one, I don't really like forehanding 7 or 8 speeds in general. For me, they just tend to not have as much torque resistance, and I'm not touchy enough with my forehand yet that I can really confidently put the right amount of speed into it. For that to have held that line, honestly be a little more stable, and actually have a lot more finish. I was kind of surprised. T-Bird 3's putting first. This is the Athena, that's pretty parked. I don't think it's like more special than the other discs that I've been throwing, but it's definitely Discraft's worthy challenger. Oh, sit down. Athena's up. We'll play match play rules, meaning you have to win the hole. So Athena's winning 1-0 since we pushed on hole 10. This shot is gonna be interesting because the basket is straight through here on a straight line, 475 feet away. We're going with the Evader. I'm gonna force him over a tiny bit and make him come back. Forced it over, and that thing is not coming back. I don't know if I'll ever see that disc again. No, I think I will, because that's on the fairway of the first hole that we played. Okay, didn't nearly force it over as much, but that is a really good shot with that Athena. Yeah, that's exactly where I'd want it to be. I think instead of forcing it over on Anheuser, I just threw it flat and very right instead of forced over and slightly right. Let's even see if we can find that Evader. You might recognize this basket, and you also might recognize that right in this tree line is my evader. I'm not calling this OB because I'm lazy. There's a big tree, so we got to do pretty decent spike forehand here. I'm so bad at that shot. Oh my gosh. I never put it wide enough. Never. That is one of the quirks of getting used to this camera. I just made a pretty decent shot and totally didn't record it. I thought I was recording. So I'm sorry about that. But I did have to get an interesting skip shot. And what I was going to talk about is when you do those skip shots, Paul McBeth style, one of the things that he really likes to do is when he's throwing them, he'll keep the nose of his disc slightly up. That loses distance, but it does allow for the disc to get more skip, even on like thicker grass like this. So I was able to get a pretty decent skip, even though the grass is thick. All right, another C2 putt. Got it. Let's go. Real birdie. Athena's 3 for 3 right now. All right, here we are. The basket is straight ahead of us, right there where my finger is, but it looks like they're actually playing to a basket that's a little bit further away. That looks much harder. And especially since the close one is super close, like 220 feet. Yeah, the B pin is 400 feet down there and elevated. So that's a much more interesting shot. We gotta get through this gap on some turn and trust the disc to be stable enough to get back there. So we're gonna throw our Explorer and our Athena. It's not as flippy as I thought. Did hit the gap, now I'm gonna try the Explorer. We honestly essentially threw the same throw. The Athena's here, Explorer's right there. A new Explorer, which I just bought at the same time, has a very similar disc to the Athena. Oh no. That's the first big blemish, but I still have a circle putt. Much better. Yeah, I feel like that is a, perfect shot, but almost identical disc too. Does definitely have to be like an Opto or a Ricky Explorer though, because I bought a recycled Explorer yesterday as well, and that disc, not the same. It is way flippier. It's like my beat-in Opto. Time to see if we can get the putter hot. Got it. Let's go! A lot of like these other disc reviews that I've done, like Scott Got 4, Tilt, obviously, Tour over Zone. Those have all been kind of, ooh, this is interesting, or ooh, this is different than my expectations. Whereas this one, kind of exactly what I expected. It's a good disc though. Here's a hole where we will absolutely be able to let loose. We have 500 feet, slightly downhill. Just got to hit this initial gap. No, it's gonna suck. Oh man, 2 for 2. Do you want to play through me? I'm gonna mark those and then rethrow them because I want to see how they'll fly. But I also know that I need to play from that position, unfortunately. That's so embarrassing, dude. All right, Explorer, because it basically is the same thing, is gonna be the marker for the Athena. Throw a good shot. Throw a good shot. Not a good shot, but it went pretty far for being super nose up. Oh, you wanna hear something dumb I just realized? I now have to go get the Athena again because I have to throw it from where I marked. Alrighty, let's go get this freaking disc, freaking disc, freaking disc. Where the heck did it go? We're gonna go patent pending out here. Try to throw a massive turnover. Oh, that's, oh no. There was negative anhyzer on that coming out of my hand. Someone called that hyzer, but negative anhyzer sounds cooler. Basket in there. I think we can potentially get there with a solid hyzer forehand, something I am known of being great at. Flip up, flip up, flip up, flip up. Get over the log, skip over it. Oh, counter skip. Rude. Left ourselves this putt for the birdie from the 2 for 3. The putter's been hunting today. Yeah. Oh! Needs to be about a foot further because it was too lofty. It wasn't gonna get into the chain. Tap out our par, get a nice little Annie putt and not hit this tree trunk. Should have left it to the Athena. Oh! There's no retakes, but we're gonna call that a bogey, not a double bogey because, oh no, we're playing match play. Doesn't matter. The T for 3 one. Good. My channel integrity is not fully gone yet. All right, basket. Boom. 250 foot flex forehand through this gap. Flex forehand because then the finish is gonna be less severe as it comes out of it, but you gotta get the angle right. It's a much touchier, more technical shot. That is what you call not executing it though. That is how you call executing it. Go in the basket. Oh, way short. Honestly, let's try to skip this in. Not enough skip. I hit the ground and just stopped. Don't pay attention to the cars in the background. Another win for the Athena. All right, here we are, hole 16. Got a gap right there that we gotta hit, but I'm gonna be real with you, I have no idea where this basket is. I'm pretty sure you just gotta hit straight through the gap. It looks like, yeah, it's through this gap and pushing straight, Athena and the Explorer. We'll see if there's any difference between those two discs for me. That's not bad, it's gonna be short, but at least I hit the gap. That's way better. It hit the inside, but I put my hips through it more. Those both held torque pretty well though, honestly. Especially that off-axis torque, I think is what it's called. It's where it like wobbles out of your hand. Both of them had pretty similar flights. We hit some cabbage on the way through, but it was a better flight. My Athena is actually way further down here because I didn't realize it was such a downhill. I thought this was gonna be a better shot, but the Athena actually ended up way better. No, way too far right. I didn't think, but I should have brought 2 putters. Tap out real fast. Yes. No, it felt left, but it was downhill, so I knew it had a chance. Luckily, score doesn't matter too much in this one because similar to other things, but that's embarrassing. All right, going T-bird 3 now, second to last hole. 255, straight down there. You can see the basket, just a big spike hyzer. Not that wide though, a little higher, buddy. It's gonna be a putt. Let's make it happen. Oh my gosh, same line, even wider. What the world? On to the last hole. Honestly, I think that everybody should throw a disc like this or have one in the bag. I was bagging Thunderbirds for a while, pretty much, and not these type of discs. But to have a disc like the Athena, the T-bird 3, honestly, the Evader is slightly more stable than I put in this category. The T-bird, T-bird 3, Explorer, it's just something good to have in your bag. If you really like Discraft, get the Athena. It's a solid new disc. Like, I would throw this disc if I was sponsored. I wouldn't pay for this disc because the prices are gonna be ridiculous, like everything with Paul McBeth's name on it. So I prefer to throw like Explorers, but something in that 7 speed or 8 speed, 5 or 4 glide, -1, 3, or 0-2, something where the fade, or the turn, which is the third number, and the fade, which is the last number, adds up to 2. So -1, 3, 0-2. I don't know if there's any other combination that does that. But those would all be really solid discs to put in your bag because they just hit lines easy. Because when you have to throw it at 9 speed like a Thunderbird, you have to get it a little bit faster to throw it on its intended trajectory. Whereas a 7 or 8 speed is even good for like slower arm speed players. You'll be able to hit those lines a little bit easier than with like a 9 or 10 speed. So let's get on to this last hole. Athena, solid disc. Makes sense that Paul wants to throw the T-bird again because that type of disc, which I don't think Discraft had, super solid thing to be in your bag. You pretty much need it. Up and around this corner, so big hyzer. We're gonna throw to the A pad because it's only 320 feet and see if we can really push it out there. We're gonna go Evader. Get over that last tree, and it did not. I'm so baby today. I need to be a little more inside of that, a little more hyzer. Perfect. Yes. Oh, that's the perfect shot. It's a good disc. It's just that. It's a good disc that a lot of other manufacturers make it, probably for cheaper. You can probably see the basket straight over this hill, just barely. I think the Athena is probably gonna be relatively close to parked, and that's gonna be a really good upshot. That means that we make the Athena putt. The Athena technically wins. Ooh, never mind. The Athena's not parked. Oh, baby. Oh, I think that's honestly a little more fitting too, because it's gonna end up being that all these discs tie, and if you don't throw all Discraft, I absolutely think that's the truth. Par, and that's about what the Athena is. Par for the course with the 7 or 8 speed, 5 or 4 glide, 0-2 fade. Hey, if you really like this type of comparison video, definitely go check out my Zone versus Toro video right over here. I was very pleasantly surprised, I was just surprised by what happened in that video, and definitely drop a subscribe because I post content like this almost every single day at this point, and like the video, that would help. Thank you.